Welcome to Outdoors Radio, amplifying voices inspiring the world. I'm your host, Alba Mireles, and I'm absolutely delighted to welcome today's guest, Johan Raubal, the author of the book Hannah. We're here to celebrate your creativity and explore the world you crafted in this book. Johan, thank you so much for joining us.
Sure.
So, my first question is it's gonna be about you. Like, you can tell us a little bit about your background. Who is Johan?
Who's Johan? Johan is a person who was lost in IT consulting for most of my professional career, and then one day decided to write a book, and Hannah appeared.
Wow. And what initially drew you in this world of writing, since your background is so different? Like, it was in a specific moment that you think I need to write about this?
I think I've always been an author in a way, a closet one, struggling to find my outlet. And then when I found a way of doing it that worked for me, the process, then it just sort of fell out of me. Hannah was a fully formed story in my head, largely. And I've been carrying it around for years, working on it in ski lifts and when walking and all sorts of areas that I was just passing through. And in the car, I do a lot of writing in the car, just mentally sort of knitting the story together.
Yeah. And you know, the title Hannah, like what it's about, like who is Hannah?
So imagine she's a beautiful woman who has learned very early in her life that being beautiful comes with a price that men want to take from her. And they do. They take from her to a point where she goes, I don't really need to do this anymore. I can be without relationships. It's fine. So, and this is when men see it as their achievement to be with her rather than her, rather than a combined thing that you do together. It's like, well, I was with her. And those women exist, unfortunately, and I've met a few of them, and the premise of the book resonates with me very deeply. And on the other hand, you take John, a man who gave everything to his wife when she was suffering from cancer. He gave everything. And I don't know if you know anything about people with terminal diseases, they take, endlessly take. So in that moment, but neither of them are looking for anything, something happens. There is a spark. They look a little too long. They find something that is more than nothing. And that's how the book starts. That's the premise of the book.
Yeah, and I saw in your website, like the book begins, actually the first chapter is free. So the book begins with a simple glance on a train platform, right?
Yeah.
What appealed to you about opening the story with such like a quiet moment rather than a dramatic event?
But haven't we all had those moments? You meet someone across a car park, in a station, at an airport. You look at someone going, and they look back a little bit more like, and then the moment evaporates because we get overtaken by routine and where we're going and everything around us. And I wanted to explore that moment. What could happen? The what if? What if it's more? And you let that play out. So yeah, that's why it starts on a train station.
Yeah, and romance novels cover sometimes like many themes like identity, connection. Which of these resonate most in your story?
Um, Being seen, the moment when you realize that it is okay to be yourself, you don't have to perform. The person who is with you doesn't care about anything but you, and they want to see the real you, not some performed person, and how that affects us so deeply, how it makes us feel good about being there in a way that we never expected. I can be myself, which should never be a surprise, but to many it becomes a surprise when they suddenly have an opportunity to be just themselves, just as
And questions like any of these experiences in Hannah's book, uh, these ones were experience that you experienced by your own, or you create this new world?
I mean, as I said, those glimpses, those looks, yeah, we've all had those, and I kind of had one when I was very young on a tube train with a girl, but and I drew on that moment, but it's not, it wasn't. This isn't. This is fragments of lived experience. This is my life assembled into Hannah, but what happened to Hannah and John never happened to me. No, it's not autobiographical in that way. No.
And did writing Hannah challenge your own ideas, like about love, relationships? And did you learn something new about like the human connection?
Um, I learned to write about it, but I write what I think it should be. So it is my testament. It's my testament to how I think relationships should be with people. Be yourself and have fun together and smile every day and be yourself. So I would say no to that question. I don't think I learned anything because it's not what I set to share what I think it should be like. And I think I have different expectations from relationships than many do. But I don't know. I leave it to the reader to decide whether they learned something from it. But I love the characters, and to be fair, what I did was mostly to sit and listen to the two of them as they went through their life and trying to capture it as best as I can. It's really their story that plays out on the page. It's not my story, if
And
that makes sense.
at the end of the book, like, what do you hope readers walk away after finishing Hannah?
For people who haven't been in relationships for a while or struggle to find meaning in relationships, I hope they give it a second chance, but differently.
And
And also, I hope people realize that it's okay to be yourself. You should be yourself. You should be the person who you are. Is the person that you want people to fall in love with. Don't pretend to be someone else. That doesn't work in the long run. And I think that's the big thing. And then for both of them in the book, that is something that surprises them repeatedly. That they're allowed to be exactly themselves. And
yeah,
past experiences flavor that view very heavily. People come into a relationship with expectations, and then they realize that, oh, this isn't like that at all. This is different. Why is this different? So that's what I hope they take away.
yeah. And in the process of writing now, like, what was the most challenging part of writing the story? So emotional. Like, it was a part that you think I didn't expect to be so hard.
Um, that's a difficult question, simply because writing Hannah turned out not to be that hard. And I'll say that to gloat or brag in any way. But what's harder was stopping to listen to them, the characters that I inhabit, that I have inside of me, that I listen to. That was harder, keeping up with them when they have so much to say, and doing them justice on the page, because they are themselves, and I need to be truthful to who they are. And sometimes you wrote things you're going, no, this isn't right, and delete that and just write it again, because it makes more sense writing it differently, because it isn't truthful to who they are. So that was the most difficult part, I think, making sure that it was them I wrote.
And
And
on the flip, yeah, sorry, on the flip side, I know that probably you you're now a writer, so I think that sometimes there's something that it's really meaningful to you, fulfilling to you. What it's about? What can you share something about something positive that changed your life now that you decide being a writer?
ooh, for me, I mean, when I'm working on my next book now, and then I have many other projects on the go as well that I prepare to write later. And it's fascinating how I feel like I'm being a bit naughty when I start working on a book that's not my next book, the book that is like 3 or 4 books away. I was like, feels really naughty. I'm going to work on this book a little bit. That surprises me, and and also what surprises me is how your perspective of number of words get warped. When we study or in college, you're thinking, write an essay at 5,000 words, and you're going, oh my God, it's 5,000 words. How can I manage? And I'm going, well, I've only done 30,000 words in this one, so it's still only raw. And Hannah is 115,000 words, but that's what it took to tell the story. And it was weird during the journey from sort of 80,000 words to 115,000 words. I didn't think it was going to be that long. I didn't, but that's how long it took to tell the story. So
And right now that Hannah is out there, what kind of conversations do you hope this book spark among leaders, teams, like about people talking about Hannah? What do you expect to hear about this book?
I I hope we can let women be women. That's what I hope most, as they are, with all their flaws and vulnerabilities and all their biological issues that they have. All of that makes a woman. You can't take any part away from it because it makes her less of a woman. And I think that's the thing I want to treasure the most in Hannah, having written what I think is a full woman with all aspects of being a woman inside of her. And apparently, people tell me this is not common to write that way, but I chose to do it because that's what women are, I think. And I want to do as a truthful representation of a woman as I can.
Yeah, and many listeners right now are also writers or thinkers. Like, what advice would you give to someone considering writing literature? It's considering about writing these novels, these kind of books. They're thinking too, but they are not like very 100% sure. What advice would you give them?
Every person who writes a book has their own journey. But what I want to share is stop and listen. Think about it. And I work with some other authors as well already. And what I tell them is people do want to hear your story. People are interested. Now more than for a really long time, fiction is more than it has been because it offers us a glimpse into another world where things are different and we can step away from the everyday life for a moment and feel a bit better, and then we recharge a little, and then we come back to the everyday, and we can then approach it a little easier with a bit more humility and a bit more compassion. And I think that's something beautiful that fiction does.
And right now, are you working in any new projects, any future books?
Yes. Yes, I have a forthcoming book. It's called The Gentle Orbit. We'll publicize it in October next year. It's a bigger book, it turned out, but more about that closer to the time. I don't want to distract from the launch of Hannah now, but yeah, and I'm going to be publishing books regularly from now on. I hope, if everything goes to plan. Yeah. So yes,
That's
my
and
my 4 next books are all mapped out, so it's going to happen once a year.
that's nice. And finally, like, where can listeners find Hannah? And I know you have a second book as well, Say the Curse. So where can listeners connect with you or reach you in case they are interested in buying this book?
Well, I'm on Instagram, Johan M Raubal. I'm on Facebook as Johan Raubal, and I'm also on my website. You can reach me there through messaging me directly from there if you want to. This is johanraubalbooks.com, and this is also where they can find the first chapter for Hannah to download. And I think I'd love interacting with people, and I would love hearing what people think about it, because it makes me, even if they don't like it, I still want to hear it, because it makes me a better writer, understanding what I got right and what I can do better. And
Yeah,
even
of
if it's
course.
something I don't agree with, I still like to hear it.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to hear those like negative or positive reviews, but at the end of the day, every review it gives you something, and that's good if people can just take a look in your book. And for me, it's very interesting. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
being here. Anything else that you want to add?
Well, I think not really, but the bit we talked about right now about feedback and stuff, if people want to see what I think about leadership and how to lead, that is the other book that we haven't really discussed, Stay the Course. And that is my statement about leadership and what I think leadership is like. And that comes back to how I approach feedback as well. So I'm happy with any feedback, good or bad.
Yeah, and thank you, Johan. It has been a pleasure having you on Authors Radio. Thank you for giving us a glimpse into your work and sharing your passion. And listeners, be sure to check his book. Thank you for tuning in to Authors Radio, amplifying voices, inspiring the world. And join me next time for another inspiring conversation. In the meantime, happy listening.
Thank you very much.